G'day. Is it possible for Max Verstappen to lose the Drivers' Championship this year? Yes, it's mathematically possible, especially if Red Bull continues to struggle with their car. Max Verstappen's recent form has called into question the likelihood of him winning his fourth World Drivers' Championship. He's just failed to dominate the competition like he did in 22 and 2023. Currently, Max leads the championship with 277 points, and the closest driver to him is Lando Norris on 199 points. That's a 78-point buffer. And then there's another 22 points back to Charles Leclerc in third position. But for this video, I'll focus on just Lando's chances of beating Max Verstappen for the 2024 title. Now, to give you an idea, that 78-point buffer that Max had could be wiped out in 3 races. If Max finished out of the points and Lando won every race, plus scored the 3 fastest laps, they'd be back to even. And that would be a very juicy title scenario. With 7 races to go, they'd be even. As it stands now, though, Max is the clear favourite to win the 2024 championship. Bookies have him at $1.18 to win. You put $1 on, you win 18 cents, you get $1.18 back. Lando, on the other hand, is quoted at $5.50 to win the title. Put $1 on and you'd win $4.50. However, what would it take for Lando Norris to clinch the 2024 championship? Let's look at a few scenarios. Let's have a look at the average finishing positions of both drivers. Max's average finishing position was 2.4. Last year, it was 1.3. And in the 5 races prior to the break, his average finishing position was 3.4. In other words, for those 5 races, he finished between 3rd and 4th every race. Lando's 2024 average finishing position is 4.64. Last year, much worse, 7.43. And for the last 5 races, it was 6.4. If both drivers continue with their current year form, Max will win easily. So what would happen if Max maintained his 2024 win rate of 2.4 for the rest of the season? What would Lando have to do to win the championship? So for a start, Max can't finish 2.4. He can finish 2nd or 3rd. So let's say he finishes 2nd in every race. Now, in the second half of the season, there are 10 feature races and 3 sprints. We'll presume that Lando wins all 13 of those races. He'd score 73 more points than Max, but he'd still need 6 fastest laps to win the title, assuming that Max didn't get any fastest laps. Of course, if Max got a fastest point, Lando would have to get another one to match it. And if he got 2, Lando would have to get 2. And remember, there are no fastest lap points in sprint races. Of course, the odds of Lando winning those last 13 races are astronomically high. So you have to think that is a scenario that's not going to play out. And for the 3rd scenario, let's assume that Lando maintains his current win rate. What would Max have to do for Lando to win? So let's award Lando 5th place in every feature and sprint race, because that's roughly his average this year. He'd end up with 311 points, and that's without any fastest laps. He would end up 34 points ahead of Max, assuming that Max did not score 1 point for the last half of the season. But if Max finished 9th in all feature and sprint races and got all 10 fastest laps, he'd fall short of Lando by 4 points. But if he finished 9th in all races except for 2 where he finished 8th, that would lead to a tie. And what would happen then? Well, the driver with the most number of wins would end up the champion. But what if they had the same number of wins? Then the championship is decided by the driver who scored his first win in the season. I'm pretty sure that's the case. You can correct me in the comments below if that's not the case. So what conclusions do we draw from all of this? Well, Max would have to way underperform, and Lando would have to blitz the pack. Certainly Max's strong start to the season set him up beautifully to defend his title in the second half of the season. Well, it's not really half, is it? It's 10/24ths or 5/12ths or 50 120ths. But you can never tell in this sport. And if Max has a number of DNFs very quickly, we could be faced with a rather more juicy end to the season than we're perhaps expecting. And if you're wondering when the earliest Max might be able to claim the 2024 championship, my maths say Mexico. And that would be assuming that Lando doesn't score another point, Max wins every race, sprint racing gets every fastest lap, and that the points for the 2nd through to 10th place finishes all went to drivers that were on the bottom half of the table. Realistically, Max has won the 2024 championship. But if you are betting on Lando, you'd be wanting some very long odds on that. 500 to 1, I'm suggesting, might be good value. Now, for those of you who aren't subscribed, you can remedy that straight away by hitting the subscribe button, and please, at the very least, like this video. And for a whole lot of extras, including signed prints by drivers, F1 photo books, wall art, and register your interest for the 3rd drop of these bucket hats, head to kimellman.com. Thanks for watching, and stay passionate. Drivers. G'day. Can't. Mathematical.